Welcome to RADcast, the Random Ass Dudes podcast where absolutely nothing's off limits. Hosted by two guys with no script, no agenda, and no clue what's coming next. If it's random, it's fair game. Tune in, laugh with us, argue with us, or just wonder, what the hell did I just listen to? New episodes come out weekly, and pure chaos is guaranteed.
Damn.
Well, I guess it's going.
This is it, huh?
Yeah, it's fun to finally get it started.
So much work.
Yeah, right.
So much shit.
So much build up all to this.
Yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's been a lot of build up to get this thing going and playing around with it and stuff like that. So, you know, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick. Let people know who you are. I know that we've got the Donkey Dude stuff up and we call it Random Ass Dudes Podcast. But let people know who you are.
So, my name's Shane. I am a veteran. I'm a lineman. I feel like I've done a lot of different things in my life. You know, been around a lot. I love talking to people. You know, I love understanding where people come from. Like, you know, why did you get to where you're at? You know, like how? Like, you know, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, no, it's cool. You know, my name's Nathan. We're actually cousins through marriage, and funny thing is, about a year and a half ago is when we actually ran into each other randomly at Western Trails out at, you know, literally a rodeo. And, you know, Sam and I were in the process of building a new house and decided to flip the script and move out here and live within a mile of you guys. And it's been the best thing that's ever happened. You know, it's you know, kind of a little bit about me is that, you know, I've become kind of a serial entrepreneur and just kind of trying to help people, you know, build businesses and really just help people out. And this is just a cool platform to be able to just help others, you know. And I think you think about what did we started talking about this 4 weeks ago to where we're at today, and then you think about the different events that we've gone to, whether it's, you know, the line dancing at Dillon's or going to example distillery last night. Just the fact that we've started to openly talk to people about the podcast. Yeah. How many people want to participate? Yeah. I mean, we've got 3 recording artists that are already committed to coming on. Yeah. Yeah. Pro Bowl riders, professional ropers.
I really didn't think that a lot of people were going to be this like accepting of it, right? But if you think about it, like, so many podcasts are out there and they all like are specific to like one thing, you know, and then like the big podcasts, right? Like the Joe Rogans, the Sean Ryans, like they have a lot of like professionals, right? Actors, comedians, like high dollar people. But that's not what we want to do here. No. We want like the blue collar, the white collar, the middle class, the everyday people come in and just talk and tell us their story.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we first started talking about this, we were like, well, who's the audience? And really, everybody's the audience. Yeah. Like, we want kids that are interested in the Western lifestyle to be bought in, right? I think about a lot of this is when I take a look at the podcast itself or who we want to be on here, I think about Drake, right? So Drake is, you know, starts out mutton busting and then, you know, becomes a mini bull rider, and you have all of those things. And then you look at like the older generation, and I think about like my father-in-law who's a military vet, and, you know, it really doesn't, it's not for any one group of people. This is literally for everybody to have a platform to talk. You know, we talk to farriers all the time, and you know, we've got, you know, my brother-in-law who breaks horses and rides bulls, and he's excited to come on. And then,
that's another adventure that you're into, right? Oh yeah, is the whole horse thing and getting into that.
Jesus, a year and a half ago, I didn't even have any horses. Yeah. And now we've got a training program in place, and you know, we're talking about potentially breeding, or not breeding, but breaking, you know, race horses, and it went from 0 to 100 real quick. So
that's you.
Well, that's a fact.
Right, that's you.
Yeah, that's for sure. But and it's been cool.
I think it's because those calves, dude. That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, is that it?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't know that that's the case, but
they look good.
But I think, you know. But you think about like where, you know, where we were all at just a couple years ago to where we're at today. Yeah. And, you know, the things that we've been able to do for our families just because of the hard work, like you as a lineman and then me, you know, in the trades and just working our tails off.
Well, you're on the other side of the trades.
I am.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're not doing the elbow grease.
I'm not.
Rug, tug, whatever, but you're, you know, the business side of
right.
it. Yeah.
And that part is a lot of fun, but I think my favorite part about it is actually seeing others be successful doing it, right?
Yeah.
By giving them some tricks and tools of the trade, and just creating opportunities for those to be successful.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it boils down to we all do it for our families.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
oh, for sure.
So
and I mean, and a little bit of yourself for yourself, right? Because I know for me, you know, becoming a lineman and stuff, like, yeah, do I want to provide for my family? 100%. But I want to do something that I want to do, right? Like, I can't sit behind a desk. I can't do freaking paperwork. I can't do that stuff. I need to be outside. I need to be working. I need to be doing something physical, you know? And that was for me, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and it's good that you realize that, right? Is sometimes it takes a long time to figure out where your true passions lie. I mean, I spent 20 years in the car business killing myself, and I hate it every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I finally found a space where it allows me to do things that I love to do.
Well, these business ventures that you're doing, I remember we had a, like, when we were talking, and you were talking about, like, you know, how you were helping other businesses grow, right? And then, you know, you weren't getting shit from it. Right, and then so you're like, I'm gonna start my own stuff. You know what I'm saying? I think your idea of like building like a whole service thing, dude, that's pretty. I think that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of work, and it's something that, you know, we're all actively working on all the time. And I'm blessed enough that I've got a very supportive wife and my kids, and you know, obviously you guys help out a lot, but you know. I work for an amazing company that allows me the freedom and has invested in me to get me to where I'm at today. Yeah. So I will never, ever, ever not be totally grateful to them. But you know, the business side of it is truly like, I almost call it like leaving a legacy, right? Is to build something for the next generation, and have something that's left behind. You know, my primary focus is my primary job.
Yeah.
And doing that to the best that I possibly can, to provide for my family and to make sure that they're all taken care of. And I love to do it. But you know, you look at like hindsight being 2020, I wish I would have kind of taken a different career path now that I see what the trades have to offer and you know, situations like yourself, because I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I just have figured out how to use my mind to get things done.
For sure. Well, I mean, in our generation, there wasn't the, hey, go to trade school, go do this, go do that, you know. It's go to college.
Right.
Get your degree.
Get in the military.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still preach that, you know.
Well,
because I'm telling all my kids, like, I'm pushing them to go into the Navy, right? And I just feel like, for me, it helped me out a whole lot, you know. And if they go, great. If they don't, great. Whatever, but it opened up so much doors for me to be able to figure out what I want to do, help me grow, you know, because like once you're gone, dude, and you're out there and you're by yourself, there's a lot of growing to do, you know.
Well, and I know that better than anybody right now. I mean, you look at my son and my daughter, you know, 19 and 20 years old. Tyler just signed a contract to be on the police department.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you know, 3 years ago, he was going to go be a mechanical engineer. Yeah, the kid's a track stud. He's athletic and he's social. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to be able to survive sitting behind a desk looking at CAD designs all day long. You're going to go crazy. And he's truly figured out that this is what he's passionate about. But you look at like Kayla, you know, when she first went off to college, I'm going to go for sports medicine. Yeah. She got a chance to learn to sell, and she's like, this is a lot of fun. Yeah. Like, I don't think I want to do sports medicine anymore. I want to go into business. Like, I want to be able to sell.
Well, there's also that competitive aspect to that, right? Like, selling isn't just selling a product, but you're trying to grow something, you're trying to make more money, you're trying to make it bigger, you know? And nobody wants to lose. Right. So, like, as like an athlete, I'm sure you kind of have that same thing, right? Just
Yeah, and I think that the big miss, like when you talk about sales, like everybody thinks sales, when you put the term salesman or saleswoman, it sounds grimy, right? You think car salesman.
Yeah.
And a lot of the trainings that I do and working with people is I'm like, listen, sell yourself, don't sell the product, right? People buy people, they don't buy products.
Yeah.
If they trust you and they like you, they will buy from you. And you don't have to sell it to them because you're building value. But you look at, again, it's no different than what we're doing here with this. The value's not in you and I jumping on a podcast and just randomly talking, although that is going to be a lot of what happens.
I don't know.
But you think about like the cool people that we've gotten to meet already, and this thing just started.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to be badass to watch.
Oh, dude, yeah.
These guys blow up. Because we've got, 3 essentially up-and-coming country artists that are coming on.
Yeah.
That are awesome, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very unique, one of them, right?
Very.
Yeah.
Very. I can't wait till he tells his story.
I know.
I mean, I'll probably cry.
Would you?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty, it's a pretty special story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know, like I was talking to my friend Brandon the other day, like he's excited for it. And he was giving me all these ideas, like, oh, you should have this person. I'm like, dude, I already thought about that, man. Like, there's so many people that I know that I've came across in my life that I'm like I know them as like friends, but I, like thinking about them and like, man, I want to know more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody wants to have a voice,
Right.
And like this right here is probably like a live action Facebook. Almost, right? Like everybody wants to put their stuff on like Facebook.
Yeah.
So this is that, but they get to use their voice and it's like raw, right? It's going to be raw.
Yeah. I don't think I thought about it like that, but that's a very, very clever way of looking at it. It's social media on steroids.
Yeah.
Right? Like
exactly.
Instead of them telling stories by pictures, they're going to have a platform to get on and literally tell their story.
Yeah. And they're not going to, I'm sure we're going to have like Trevor. Mm-hmm. Trevor's going to be on multiple times.
Oh, yeah, that guy's
what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So, I'm just excited, dude. I really am. I really love talking to people, and it for me, it's like the creative aspect of it, right? Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was, and my mom's seen these videos, but I would make little Lego videos by stop action, right? Like, I would... take a picture and then move it and then, and I love that, dude. I love the whole creative thing. When like the neighborhood kids that I grew up around, when Jackass came out, we were creating Jackass videos, dude, just like jumping in bushes and like jumping off roofs and stuff. Like, yeah, that was dumb, but it was still like that creative part of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm excited about this, is like to be able to create, content. Not just for you and I and for this podcast, but for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially those country artists.
Right.
They're going to be able to not only probably find their, or like help them in like interviews, right? This could be like their little mock-up interviews for when they do get big and they go on other podcasts. It's not like, oh shit, I've never done this before,
Yeah. Well, they're definitely not afraid of getting behind a mic on a stage, but it'd be interesting to see how comfortable they are telling their story.
Yeah.
It's very easy to sing. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a singer, right? But I think when you look at them, they're very comfortable in that atmosphere because they're playing to the crowd. Now, how do you operate when you're truly vulnerable and you're putting yourself out in front of a big group that you don't get to see how they respond?
Exactly.
And I think I told you that last night. Like, there's going to be some people that hate this and talk a bunch of shit about us and all this other stuff. And, luckily you handle most of the social media stuff because I'm the sensitive one and I'm going to be chapped and you're going to let it roll off your back.
Well, I might not let it roll off my back. I might talk some shit, like I love talking shit.
Yeah. But again, like you were saying, it's a platform for them to really polish their public speaking skills, which is, let's be honest, that's everybody's biggest fear.
For sure. Yeah, talking to people.
Just random.
Yeah. I always like, I feel like talking nowadays, like, conversations are not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you just go out and observe people, like, I love just meeting random people and just talking to them, and then I'm trying to get my kids to do the same thing, right? Just to get Hayden to go order her or dinner
Right.
or something. It's like, no, you like sometimes you're like, no, Dad, I feel embarrassed and no, I don't know what to say. It's like, well, go figure it out.
Right.
You know, go talk. Right?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like, you mentioned the whole Jackass thing and doing Lego stories and stuff like that. I watch your kids kind of, you know, I think it's Zeke when you say that, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah,
like, he'll
yeah.
come stay the night, and the next thing you know, an hour and a half later, he's telling me about this comic that he's built that's him and his siblings, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and then you talk about building your Legos and stuff. And I just remember, like, when I was a kid, everything was about BMX bikes.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
had a heavy impression on where the RADcast came from, right? But then we also played with, you know, Tonka toys and stuff like that. Like, we were outside. When summer hit, you left the house when the sun came up, and you came home when the streetlights came on.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of me selfishly wants kids to hear about that and understand, like, you don't have to just sit in front of a laptop somewhere.
Yeah.
Or on YouTube all day long or whatever. Like, get out and go be a kid.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a missed art. I guess I shouldn't say art, but it's a missed opportunity for them to learn and explore. And that's, when we go out with your kids, that's my favorite part about going out, is watching them just be super social.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? There's no weirdness there for them. So,
yeah, like, it just comes natural. Like for me growing up, I did the outside stuff, and we also did the inside stuff, right? Like, we did a lot of like, you know, going bike riding, playing hockey, playing football or whatever. And then, you know, there's days where, like, hey, let's just go play, you know, video games, or let's go play StarCraft on the computer, or let's go play poker or something, you know. And that should be also, like, you know, the kids should also know, like, dude, it's okay to do the video games, but get your ass outside, man.
Right.
You know, like, get dirty.
Everything needs to be done in moderation. You know what I mean? I was the king of Tecmo Bowl, and then Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and Metroid was my jam. But it was also, I mean, I at the time I was pissed, right? My parents would be like, you get an hour a day for video games. You play it however you want to play it, but you get an hour a day. And I was like, I want to play all day long. Yeah. And then hindsight being 2020, now I look at it and I'm like, I appreciate the fact that they didn't just let me sit in front of a TV all day long and play video games all summer long. They're like, no, get your ass outside. There's a slip and slide out there. You guys got a pool. Go play around. Like, go ride your bikes. Go be social with your friends in the neighborhood. So, you know, I think in living out here, we don't have a lot. I mean, there's always something to worry about. But to me, like, letting the kids be out and just doing their thing, and, you know, we'll drive over here randomly and your daughter's riding her horse down the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. It's just a different lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's, like, really important to, I don't know, that's why this podcast is here, dude. Mm-hmm. You know, hopefully this, like, reaches, like, that younger generation, but also, by using, like, the older generation, you know. And we also do plan on having some, like, high school graduates and stuff, you know. I would really love to get, like, football coaches on here, you know, and talk to them about, because they're, like, really entrenched into that generation, you know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine being a high school sports coach in general as sensitive as everything has gotten.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you think about it, like, you can't... When I played football, I don't know about you, but there was no social media. And if we got our asses kicked, we got our asses kicked. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we heard about it. Yeah. So there was no, oh, well, they need a drink every 15 minutes, or it's too hot outside. Like, August hit and we were doing 2-a-days, and, you know, we were losing 10 pounds a day because we were sweating our asses off and working hard. And
I did play football, but I mostly practiced football. I didn't start. Yeah. It's all right, though.
It's all right.
It's okay.
I only started a couple years, but it was fun. And it's, you know, I mean, I just think that there's an opportunity for kids nowadays to, and I say it like, I love my nephew to death. And I'm like, kids nowadays just aren't built the same. No. You know what I mean? And he's a great football player. Like, I think he's got the potential to be very, very good. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, we got to toughen him up. Yeah. The athleticism's only going to take you so far. Sometimes you just got to have the dog in you. It doesn't matter whether it's not just sports. Yeah. It's business. It's family life.
That's what I was telling Hayden. Like, Hayden, I think she could be really good at volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
And she would show like little snippets of like her being good, right? But she doesn't have that dog in her. And I would try to like get her all hyped up, you know, like, Hayden, you just gotta like have that feeling like you just want to fucking punch somebody or something, you know. And I don't know what it is, but some people have it and some people don't. Because Peyton, dude, she's not as athletic. I mean, she's getting there, but man, she got that dog in her. Like, she's tough, man. And
the kids are all built different, and that's something that took me a really long time to understand. And I'll tell you a quick story about Tyler, right? So Tyler's a great baseball player, great baseball player, and I would never head coach the team that the kids were on, but I would always be an assistant coach.
Yeah.
And he had one coach that just ruined it for him, and he just quit playing baseball. He's
really?
like, I'm done.
Damn.
And it broke my heart, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a baseball guy. I grew up playing baseball. I played semi-pro baseball. I traveled the country playing slow pitch softball. And then to have him just up and quit, I was like heartbroken.
Yeah.
And then you got my daughter, who was a late bloomer into it, but then had the dog.
Yeah.
Right? And she just was going to outgrind you, out-hustle you. And mind you, she's a peanut, bro. She's like 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
But
she got that Nate in her,
she's got the dog in her. And but you have to be careful too, right? Like pushing them so hard. And I was, unfortunately, I think I was guilty of that. In pushing and pushing and pushing. And then when it came time for college, she's like, Dad, I'm done.
Yeah.
She has an unbelievable senior year.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe like that pushing will push her into like you know, you said she wants to go into sales, right? Maybe doing that, like she'll take that and incorporate it into her job. Sure. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. You don't lose that. Right? No. Like, if you have the competitive spirit, it's funny. We were at my sister's baby shower yesterday, and one of the games that they had, it ended up being Sam and Kayla against each other after all this, like, single elimination stuff.
Yeah.
And it was so stupid. It was literally, you held a bowl, and you had, like, a big ladle, and then there was cotton balls all over the ground, and you had to pick them up blindfolded. If you'd have pulled the blindfolds off, those two probably would have attacked each other to win.
Really?
Because they just both are so competitive, and it's really funny to watch the two of them compete with each other.
We have that same thing, like on my dad's side, we've had like this. It's called the Florida's Family Reunion, and it's been going for like, I think we're the 39th annual, right? It was actually just yesterday. But man, dude, you want to talk about some competitive people, dude? Like at that reunion, man, like they get down, dude. Like we would have horseshoe tournaments, right? And I remember one year, I think we were hosting it, and they like, you know, there was like this big old rage about like, you know, no, my horseshoe's closer, no, my horseshoe's closer. And then they got to the point where I think one of my uncles went over there and he just randomly picked one of them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't hear that, but but it was just like, dude, like, yeah, like they get down, dude. Especially my cousin Janet. Shout out Janet.
But how cool is that? Like, family reunions are still a thing, and you guys are on your, what, 39th?
39th,
That's
dude.
wild.
I know.
Right? So, like, I haven't been to a family reunion, and it's funny you brought that up. We talked about doing one yesterday. But I haven't been to a family reunion since I was, like, 12.
Really?
No.
See, I always thought it was like everybody's doing this. Yeah.
It used to be.
But nobody really does that, you know? And it's weird because some people be like, oh, yeah, we're... every 5 or 8 years we do a family reunion, and I'm thinking like, wait, I thought a reunion's like every year. You know?
Well,
I guess
for you guys it is.
Yeah.
Tradition is tradition, right? Your guys' tradition is every year. Ours was, I think it was about every 5 years, but we haven't had one. I mean, since my grandfather passed away, you know, unfortunately, when you have something like that that's so traumatic to the family, it kind of breaks the family apart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've experienced that.
Yeah, and now, like, you look at, my sisters brought it up to me yesterday, so my grandmother's going to turn 90 in April.
Damn.
Right?
Shout out. What's your name?
Bunny.
Shout out, Bunny. 90. Get it, girl.
You ready for this? Her mom's 109.
Holy shit.
Still lives at home. My grandma Turner is 109, still lives at home. Gets checked up on my uncle every day.
She got pregnant when she was 19. Is my math? Okay.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Like, the women in my family live forever.
Yeah, that's good. Right? That's some good genes.
So it was a joke last night. We were all hanging out, and it was my mom, my grandmother, my daughter, and myself. And I was like, Kayla, if if grandma holds out, right, for another 5 years, call it, and you have a kid, that's going to be 6 generations that are alive at once.
Damn.
We actually have a photo of 5 generations right now.
Really?
My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, me, and my daughter. Or my son. Isn't
that
wild?
is awesome, dude.
That's crazy.
Imagine the stories, man.
Oh.
Imagine, like getting her here, like, when she was... Like, if you could get her, like, a little spark of that Joe Biden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she just comes in. And she just comes in here and all of a sudden just could just tell us her story, dude. Like, 109 years, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, she lived through a lot.
A lot.
God.
The story she could tell.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you could ever unlock that mind of hers and just, like... She should have put that shit in a book.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like...
So, my uncle Rich, his dad is like, I think he's pretty old. He's like in his 90s.
Mm-hmm.
He journals every single day.
That's cool.
And I don't know how many journals he has, and I don't know when he started, but how cool would that be, right?
Yeah, to take that and turn it into his life story.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. I mean, you know, I always joke that I'm going to make it to 70 and then I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? The abuse that I've put onto my body, I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to walk at 70.
Yeah.
Let alone be, you know, living at home at 109. But
I'm just interested to see how long those calves are going to go for, dude.
God. You and the calves. Well, it was funny. So when Hayden said that I ought to do the competition with your sister-in-law, I was like, well, I'll win the leg part. I don't know that I'm going to get in shape enough everywhere else.
Right. You just put like a towel over your body right there.
Yeah, I'll just keep my shirt on.
Yeah.
And we'll just do a leg off.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. But no, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm excited. You know, I think one of the things that would be kind of cool is as this continues to progress, is let people kind of chime in via whether it's direct messages and like give us topics or even get to the point where we can have people call in. And just talk, because I know that I've had people all over the country that are like, hey, how do I get on, right? And I'm like, well, right now it's like, literally, you know, at our house, but at some point it would be kind of cool to be able to do it virtually and get people to come in. So we have the capabilities of doing that. We just got to get the equipment to get, you know, and then having another phone and available and all that, you know, but yeah, we're not like Joe Rogan yet.
No. Well, Joe Rogan doesn't call people.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? He has his own thing, you know?
Right.
So, but, I mean, he's a big part of why I wanted to do this, you know? Because I'll be listening to his stuff, and I'll be, like, wanting to say something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I can't. I'm just talking to myself in my vehicle, just, you know, driving along. I don't know why I said vehicle. That's so weird.
But I think, you know... I think that's what most people that we've talked to about this, that's the part that they're most excited about, is it's not like there's no real agenda to it, there's no real script to it.
Yeah.
It's just people talking about
just raw, man.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's not famous people. There may be some famous people to drop in. I know that, you know, the kid's uncle, you know, pitched for the Washington Nationals and won a World Series, right?
That'd be cool, man.
Like there's different things like that we can talk to, but I also think that like the cool part will be is just some random ass dude coming and be like, hey, we talked about going to rodeos, right?
Yeah.
Taking this thing mobile and being like, hey, you just had a hell of a run. You want to come in and talk about it? You know?
Yeah.
It's
well, that's why we got the camper, right?
Right.
Like when we first brought up the whole camper idea, at first I was kind of like a little like, all right, but at the end of the day, we don't have anywhere else to do it.
Right.
But it just honestly like this is it. I feel like, you know.
Well, it was the funny part was when I like initially I said it and I was like, I got to reel this back in.
Yeah.
I got to pull that back. This doesn't make any sense.
And you said it before we even looked at
I did
what we got here, you know.
Well, I got to think about my old toy hauler and I was like, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I got a camper. Like, let's go check it out. And then the next thing you know, it turns into our studio. But even like when we tell people, we're like, yeah, it's a mobile podcast. And they're like, what do you mean it's a mobile podcast?
Well, yesterday when we were talking to that singer.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was a little hesitant on telling him like it's in a camper. And when I told him, he goes, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. That's badass.
I think that tells you just how raw it is, right? Is we're not in a studio somewhere. We're sitting in your camper. You know, turned it into a studio. And, you know, just, I guess it's kind of who we are. It's just,
I know.
Yeah, making something out of nothing.
Yeah, I think let's talk a little bit about like how we thought of all this.
As far as the original design or the name?
Just the name.
Okay, so how did that come about?
We were at dinner.
Yeah.
And I just asked if you wanted to do a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always had this name in my mind. It was originally Dad's, right? But I don't want to do just Dads, right? I want to do dudes. So that's why I was like, because when we talked about it, you're like, well, we got to come up with a name. I was like, I already got it. Random ass dudes. Mm-hmm. And you're like, fuck yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, and then you said it was Rad, right? And I was like, instantly I thought of the 80s movie, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, watched it on VHS for years and years and years, and I probably wore the tape out. But growing up riding dirt or bicycles, right? Bikes. My dad raced motocross, but it was kind of funny how this kind of started there, and then you turned it into what it is today.
Yeah.
And then when people see the donkeys, they're like, well, what are the donkeys about? And I'm like, well...
They're jackasses.
So they're jackasses, and it's literally me and Shane every time we hang out, because he's always cracking crazy-ass shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm always laughing my ass off.
And who doesn't love donkeys, man?
Well,
donkeys, right? Donkeys are pretty cute.
Well, we keep all trying to add them to the farm, so, you know what I mean? It would be funny to have them. And then you got the Donkey Dudes logo that I built for the 4th of July. Yeah. And now that's kind of become...
You know what I want to ask is the people that are going to listen and watch, let me know about, or let us know if you guys are interested in shirts, or, I mean, here, I'll just show you mine. So we got this one. This is an extra large. Got the RADcast there. And then got the back right here. Yep. If you guys are interested, it's weird talking not having these microphones right now, or the headphones. Especially when you had them on for like a little bit,
Yeah, and the apparel stuff will be fun. Like if people are really interested, I think initially when we talked about it, because when we started wearing it, everybody's like, "Hey, what is the shirt? Like, how do I get the shirt?"
I was surprised, bro. Like how many people were like, "Hey, what is that?"
Yeah, I mean, the first day we got it, we went to an escape room, and the guy's like, "What is RADcast? How do I get involved? You want to talk about escape rooms?" And I was like, "Dude, we don't give a shit. You want to talk?
Bring it.
You want to talk about escape rooms? Come on in.
Yeah, bring it."
And then he's like, "Well, how do I get a shirt?" But it was one of those, you're like, let's do apparel. And I was like, oh, Jesus, I've done an apparel business, and it's a lot when it comes to inventory. But what we'll do is we'll just we'll do it by order.
Yeah.
Right? We'll just do, we'll get orders in, and then we'll place the order, and then we'll ship. But
and mind you, these shirts, I was a little hesitant when Nate started ordering shirts because I was like, I didn't want you to buy like the shitty shirts where like, my sleeves are hanging out here, and it looks like I got some flags off my arm, just like walking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wanted them like nice and tight.
Well, that was
I just wanted my chesticles to kind of be in a little bit.
Well, that's what I told you. Like when we did our clothing line, the first thing I did was I tested like 10 different shirts. Yeah. And I told Sam, I was like, if we're gonna do this, like I want them to be comfortable shirts that fit right and that will last. Yeah. And unfortunately, our first run was 100% cotton, and those suckers shrunk so bad.
Really?
Oh, dude, it sucked.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You started your own. Now, was that like it was a keep moving thing, right? Now, was that for like a brand to sell apparel?
So we did.
So you did.
Yeah.
Right.
So the way that it started, and it's kind of a long story, but I'll give you kind of the Cliff Notes version. But
it's a podcast, dude.
Well, that's true. So I guess I don't have to be quick with it. But anyway, so I've always coached, right? And then I went and got a
coaching softball, right?
Well, I coached softball, I coached baseball, but it's always been youth sports. And then I was coaching club softball. And one of the things that I ended every single practice with was I would ask everybody, "What was your big takeaway today?" Right? And then I would be like, "Listen, the only goal, right, is to be better tomorrow than you were today. When you show up to practice at the next practice, I want you to learn something today so that you can improve, right, and be better when you get here." And then I always referred to, like, I always talked about, you need to just keep moving. No matter what the situation is, when you're on the ball field, you want to keep moving. You want your feet moving. You want your mind moving. You want to stay focused. And everybody likes to say, keep moving forward, right? The funny thing is, we launched this thing during COVID, right, when nothing was moving.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, what, keep moving. Yeah, keep moving forward. I was like, no. Here's the reality is if your entire mindset is that I'm just going to keep moving forward, you're setting yourself up for failure. Inevitably, you're going to have bumps in the road, right? And sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to progress, or
still
take
moving,
to the right or the left, right? You think about it like a shark. Shark dies if it quits moving. And, it was like one of those things. And I didn't realize that these kids were listening to me at all. I was like, it's going in one ear and out the other. And then one night, my daughter was like, hey, Dad, I just turned in my assignment and I wanted to show it to you. And I was like, all right, it's dinner. Like, let's talk about your assignment. Mind you, I was not a great student, so I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Yeah. And the project was, she was in a marketing class and she had to build a business. Well, my wife and I had talked about building a fitness line for a couple of years. And of course, as soon as we were ready, like we were getting ready to go to design and all that, and the next thing you know, there's like 50 new fitness lines that came out. So we were like, well, we're not going to do that.
Screw it.
So Kayla had designed an apparel line. And
that was for her class?
That was for her class. And I was like, wow, where did this come from? And she's like, Dad, it's literally your leadership style in a brand. Like, I created this brand based on the way that you talk to us kids. And you don't think that we listen, but we do. And it turned into this, it became an acronym. It was KPMVG. It said keep moving. And then she added to it state of mind. And it was all about, like, mental focus and staying focused and understanding where the wins were.
Yeah.
So we launched that, and she goes, we'll do this on one condition, is that you have to go live every Sunday to talk about challenges and how you view those as opportunities to learn and to win. Mm-hmm. So then they started doing selection Sundays, and they started getting people to call in and doing all this stuff. And it was great. Like, we sold out the first run of clothes in 45 days, did a reorder, and that took off really, really quick. The problem was it became kind of a fad, and, like, the wrong people were wearing it. Oh, and they were like drinking, they're underage drinking on social media and our shit. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, good.
Like, we shut it down, shut the website down, got rid of the clothing. I was like, that's not who this is intended for.
You got a strong snap, dude.
Oh. But it was one of those things where, we did that, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to this day, your daughter wears the stuff. I still wear some of the stuff. My in-laws are always wearing it. And a lot of Kayla and her friends still wear it. Tyler wears it to the gym all the time, and people ask about it.
Yeah.
But it really was the brainchild of her, and we were like, well, do you really want to do this? And she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, why not, right?
So
trial and error.
But it was a cool project for all of us, because the way I looked at it was, I wasn't trying to be the next FUBU or it wasn't about building a big brand, right? And I'd say that because you think of the story about FUBU.
There's so many.
No, have you heard the story about FUBU? How he started in the trunk of his car selling shirts?
Nuh-uh.
And then blew up to where he's at today? Oh, yeah. He sold t-shirts, printed t-shirts out of the trunk of his car.
Is he still blowing up today?
Oh, yeah, he's on Shark Tank.
Really? FUBU guy?
Yes.
Now, does it really mean for us, by us?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you think, and I looked at it like this, as I was like, listen, for, a little bit of money, we can start a business, and she can learn.
Mind you, I wasn't laughing at FUBU. I was laughing at the fact that
I knew
out
FUBU.
Of all the brands that you wanted to bring up, you brought up FUBU.
It's because of his story.
It's all right. Yeah.
Now he's a shark on Shark Tank, and, you think about...
Oh, that's the black guy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that's where he started.
Yeah, he started selling t-shirts out of his trunk.
Damn.
Yeah.
Grinding, man.
Talk about... Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But, it was just an opportunity, and it was cool. It was a project that we did as a family, and, Kayla learned how to know what, operating costs were, and, how do I manage apparel, and how do we order the right sizes and the right color schemes and stuff like that, and understand what a P&L looks like, and how do I build a website and stuff like that. So, it was kind of just a pet project that turned into something that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think if my kids were to come up with a brand for me, they would have to use one of my quotes or something. Get your ass over here. That's what I do when I'm mad. You gotta talk with them,
talk with the teeth closed. Yeah.
You know what's crazy, dude? Is that the southern border of the United States is exactly like the northern border of Mexico.
That's so random.
Isn't it crazy? Think
told
about
you it was gonna be random.
Think about it.
This
though.
is the random one.
Think about it, man. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool, man. I'm really excited for your horse training thing. I think that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I'm definitely not the sweat equity in that.
Yeah.
I don't. My hard riding days are long behind me. Like, I want a horse that just wants to mosey.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you remember when we went riding?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, quick story. We went riding out of my house. It was me, Nate, and Sam, and Nate was on Sedona. And, you know, we're all kind of brand new riders, and, you know, I wanted to lope, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't have the balls to do it at the time. So then Nate's like, I'll go do it. I'm like, all right. And Sedona's the type of horse that just goes. Mm-hmm. She is way more go than whoa. And she just freaking books it, right? And I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden, I see Nate, like, I remember it clear as day. Like, it's like a movie, and it just went, like, slow motion. But, you know, you're, like, going, and then she starts stopping, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you're, like, coming up over her head. And then, like, it was like it was planned. You just take hit her like reins and put it right behind the horn, all gentle like, and then you just go do 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 do, right? And then what I really felt bad is like I couldn't go fast on the horse, so like as much as I really wanted to run to make sure that you're okay, we just kind of walked.
And I was already on my horse coming back to you guys before you ever began.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, what happened? It was funny. She actually stepped in a hole.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we were running, right? We were at a dead sprint, because she's feisty. And I don't even ride her much anymore, because she just wants to work, and I just want to chill.
Yeah.
So now that's Sam's competition horse, but so she was being full of piss and vinegar, so I was like, all right, let's run the shit out of her. And I grew up riding, but it's been years since I've ridden a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, here we go. So we took her on a dead sprint. And out here we got a lot of prairie dogs or ground squirrels or whatever you want to call them. And they'll create these mounds with holes in them. And we're running. And she buckled her front legs going up over.
Oh, gotcha.
And in one fell swoop, you talk about it being in slow motion. It felt like it was in slow motion when it happened. But what had actually happened is when she initially started to go down, it threw me up and over the horn, and I landed on my hands with my reins.
Uh-huh.
And and my feet were still stuck in the stirrups. So I had to figure out in the next step, clear my hand, clear the reins, get my feet out of the stirrups, and then try to come down gracefully because of my shoulder. All I kept thinking midair is, I'm like, if I land on my bad shoulder, that shoulder replacement surgery is going to be a mess, because it's already been done once.
It's already been put up.
This is not going to be good.
You know what's crazy? Like, I've always thought about this, and I know a lot of people could relate. When you're in those types of situations, the like I don't know how fast your mind goes, and like how much you could just think, right? Like you could, like when I'm in those situations, I feel like I could think like, I don't know, 4 or 5 paragraphs of like what I need to do,
right,
to like be able to, I don't know, maybe not die. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. Like when I hit the ground, the first thing I did was tuck into a ball and look up. I assumed she was coming down on top of me. Yeah. And I was like, here comes 1,200 pounds that's about to crush me and kill me. And luckily, she's super, super smart. And she hit the brakes and didn't move. When I came off her, she dead stopped. Yeah. And I was able to kind of roll out of it and get back up on her, and we rode the rest of the day, and I was fine.
That's cool.
But it was about as Western as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, Shane comes running over and he's like, that's the most cowboy shit I've ever seen.
I came walking.
Or walking. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's
fun.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Well, shit, man. What do you think?
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For our first get together and kind of talking about it. And, what we'll do is we're lining up a lot of these guests right now, and we'll start dropping the dates that we're going to have you guys check these guys out, and hopefully we can keep getting more and more signed up.
I mean, if you have, if you want to say something, if you know somebody that has a cool story that they're willing to share and talk, reach out.
Absolutely.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. I know on Spotify, they could put comments on on the episodes and stuff.
Okay.
So that's something that we could read and.
I'm pretty sure they can do it on YouTube too. So yeah, I mean, we'll be super responsive. The goal is to just get everybody engaged in it, right? Like,
for
this
sure.
is just about engagement, and not
For
just
sure.
engagement with our guests, but the audience too, and getting people,
Yeah.
you know, to collaborate with us. So
Yeah. And remember, it's anybody, man. Like firefighters, police,
big time.
plumbers. You know, if you've been through like an addiction or something and you want to, you know, share your story, that could probably help somebody else, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. I mean, that's an opportunity to really change somebody's life.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
All right, Nate.
awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys listening in.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Have a good week.
You, friends, everyone's gonna be friends. And plus, you better ride like you ride.